had Jalen Rose on my show recently.
Now, I didn't get to watch those, but I saw some interesting titles that I wanted to click on them, but I didn't get to check it out yet.
Me and Jalen have been talking about doing this for like 10 years. Like, he had reached out to me really early. Vlad TV, we had DM'd, we talked about doing some shit, and it just took some time. But years later, he came in, we did a 2.5-hour epic interview, which was, for us a real accomplishment, because Jalen is really one of the top guys when it comes to, sports commentators and analysts. So I got into his whole backstory. What I didn't know, because I'm not really a sports guy like that, right? What I didn't realize until I started going through my notes and everything else like that was that Jalen's biological father was NBA superstar Jimmy Walker.
So my father, my biological father, Jimmy Walker, was the #1 pick in the 1967 NBA draft. Just had Earl the Pearl Monroe on Jalen and Jacoby recently, who was also in the draft.
Yep.
Love Clyde Frazier, who was also in that draft. And so he and my mom weren't clearly in a relationship. And so when I was born, it was more so I was used to, it's almost like you don't miss what you never had.
I read that in the title. I didn't know that either.
Do you know, growing up in New York, do you know who Jimmy Walker is?
Sounds familiar, but no.
Jimmy Walker was a first-round draft pick out of college.
Okay.
He, hold on a second.
Who did he end up playing for? And he's from New York?
Yeah. Hold on. Well, hold on. I'm not going to say that. Hold on a second. So he was a first-round draft pick in the 1967 draft. So this was kind of before our time.
That's a year before I was born.
Yeah, exactly. He was born in Virginia. I'm not sure where he grew up. Hold on. Yeah, played basketball. He grew up in Boston. Okay. He played for the Pistons, 67 to 72. Played for the Rockets, 72 to 73. And he played for the Kansas City Kings, 73 to 76. He's a 2-time NBA All-Star, 2-time consensus first team All-American, 3rd-team All-American, NCAA scoring leader.
And that was his biological father, but he didn't grow up with him.
Not only did he not grow up with him, but he had never met him.
Right, never met him.
Never actually physically met him. His father.
But did he know that was his father? You see what I'm saying?
He knew the whole time.
Did they steer him down the basketball road because of that?
Well, he was 6'8", so he was already like obscenely tall.
Well, he wasn't 6'8" in elementary school.
No, but he
was. And a lot of times
taller.
These kids start young. You know what I mean?
He was taller than everybody else pretty much his whole life. His father had like 13 children with like 11 women.
Wow.
And apparently he didn't really have relationships with any of these kids.
Wow.
Yeah. And it got to the point where,
sound like one of those old 70s dads. Those Papa was a Rolling Stone dad. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, one of those dads. And in fact, I may be getting these numbers wrong, but he had a level of animosity towards his father. So when he got to high school, his father's number was like 24. He chose 42. Like the opposite.
I want to be the exact opposite of my dad.
Exact opposite. And it wasn't until, it was a really interesting story where his father wrote him a letter, I think while he was still like in college or something, or high school. And he held on to that letter for like 7 years. Never read it, like carried around with him, but never opened it. Because he felt like he wanted to feel like he made it before he actually opened this letter. And then one day, by calling a few different people, he actually got his father on the phone. And then, they talked about, what's in the letter and so forth. And he never actually got to meet him. His father ended up dying at 63 years old in 2007. And he said something interesting. He went to his father's funeral, and this guy, like I said, was a superstar during his day. there was 20 people there.
Right, I read that. So, what are you saying? What does that say to what kind of life this man led?
Yeah, man. I mean, just kind of, he said that really affected him when he saw only 20 people there. So it's like not even all his kids were probably there. Like,
Right. So, what do you think the message was that he got from that?
well, the message is that, you have to, no matter how famous you are or whatever, it's really all about relationships and how much time you put into your relationships with people. And, how, it was sort of like this man may have been loved by the public, but he was not actually loved by his family and the people and his friends and the people around him.
There you go. See, it's about love. Like the more love you give out is the more love that you will receive. You see what I'm saying? And when you just live a selfish life where you're always just thinking about yourself and you don't think about others and being of service to others, and you're not spreading love, then it's like this is where you end up. And what did all of that matter? Like, he was a 2-time All-Star and he used to play in front of thousands of people and all that type of shit who were cheering him on whenever he hit a 3 or dunked it. But at the end of his life, only 22 people were there as witnesses, because that's what it is. They're witnesses and testament, and making a testament to your life. These are people that saying, yes, I knew him, he was a good man, and I'm here to represent for him. And the more people that you have at your funeral is supposed to signify the more people you've touched, the more love that you put out there that's now coming back to you. So to only have 22 people, that should tell all of us that what you're doing right now and the relationships you have with people and how you interact with them matters. You know what I mean? And, if you want your life to truly be worth something, you know what I mean, on a grand scale and not just on a monetary scale, then yeah, you got to spread love and, you know what I mean, and let your relationships flourish.
I remember during our interview, we talked about how he got into it with Jordan on the court, and he was trash talking Jordan, right? So I'm like, well, what did you say? He said, I called him overrated. He told Jordan he's overrated to his face. How did he react?
Wow, I did watch those words come out of my mouth, huh?
You're overrated.
Because part of my ego makes me think I was a member of the Bad Boys team, but I actually didn't get a uniform. So it's like when they walked off and didn't shake the Bulls' hands, when I look back at that footage, I was on the team. I felt that. That was everything to me. So I rooted against Jordan his whole career, his entire career, hoping that I made it to the NBA. And now I'm in the league, and there you go. And it's the play. Get up. Take this.
And then he was like, wow. He's like, those words actually came out of my mouth. I called Jordan overrated to his face.
That's ill.